Today, we remember civil rights pioneer Rosa Parks on what would have been her 106th birthday. Eyewitness News reporter Savannah Louie shows us how San Antonio is celebrating her legacy.
College students single-filed into a bus for today's history lesson. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus to a white man in 1955, sparking the civil rights movement in America.
It brings tears to my eyes to walk on that bus because we lived that for so long.
Now, this bus offers a lesson about segregation and equality, taught by someone with a personal account.
Thank you so much.
Barbara Collins Bowie was a freedom rider in the 50s and 60s. Today, on what would have been Rosa Parks' 106th birthday, she shared her memories at St. Philip's College.
We need to continue keeping this history alive so that our kids have a foundation, have encouragement.
Bowie's account was part of a ceremony honoring Rosa Parks, held in front of the 1966 GM Dreamliner bus. The vintage bus carried some meaningful renovations.
VIA began installing this special seat in every single one of our buses in 2005. You will also see Miss Parks' image in the window outside of her dedicated seat.
No birthday celebration is complete without gifts, and VIA Metropolitan Transit came prepared.
Today we are rolling out 20 modern VIA buses with her image,
along with a $1,000 donation to the Dr. J.R. Bowie Scholarship Foundation, Bowie's program that educates the youth about history and inequality.
Visitors are welcome and encouraged to come out to St. Philip's College and see the bus for themselves. It will be out here until Wednesday. From St. Philip's College, Savannah Louie, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.